did, and that's who he is. So.
But body-wise, not similar to Hunter. Who does he kind of remind you of?
You need to ask Todd Boyd. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
Taj says Nuke.
What?
Taj says Nuke.
You've already heard that, huh? I wasn't going to say that here. No, it's, he's got, it's hard to say.
He reminds you of Ed McCaffrey, Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
Faster. That's what he is. Put his head down. And he's very special. But I can see Ed McCaffrey. If you think about it, it's very similar body types.
CJ, do Will and Phil have can they be the best 1-2 punch backfield in college football?
That's up to y'all guys to decide. You know, I mean, them guys are self-motivated. I mean, they self-driven. You know, they don't get. Obviously, you know, in today's world, they see all the stuff that's out there, but you know, we don't sit there and discuss. Hey, let's be the best. You know, obviously, you want to be the best, but you know, that's up for the media to decide. But the only thing we can do is for those guys to do is just go out and perform. And take it one game at a time, honestly. Don't get distracted by the external stuff that's written or that's said out there. And I think if they do that, then they'll have a really good chance to have a great season as a 1-2 punch. But then you have other guys in that room because we all know, especially playing that position, you just never know what happens. I mean, you have guys like Dominique Thomas that has to be Keith Adams, who's having a phenomenal spring right now, and then you got 2 guys that's not even here with Jarvis Green and Jamarius Haynes. So it's a very competitive room. And those guys take great pride into that, and they know whoever runs out there, you represent the whole room. Obviously, with those guys being the older guys, they get all the stories written about them. And with that comes a huge responsibility, and those guys do a tremendous job of handling that. And I always tell guys, man, is that everybody want to be the driver until you're in the driver's seat. Right? So that's kind of how they go about their business. But the story's unwritten on this year because we haven't started the season. We're just trying to swallow this offense as much as we can, and then once the fall get here, we'll see what happens. But I know those guys they'll be self-motivated to go out and showcase these skills.
Coach Grisham, Antonio was so polished as a freshman last year. How do you make him even better?
He's already improved. I think we've challenged him a good bit to kind of just mature in every sense of the word, and he's responded well. You've heard it before. They don't have sophomore All-Americans, right? He knows that. Very similar, like I talked about Cole. Man, he's steady Eddie, man. He doesn't ride the emotional roller coaster, and he's just one of those kind of rock solid guys. When it comes to showing up and being who he is every day, you can kind of count on him being who he is. He's pushing through. He's practicing his tail off. He has dominated the scrimmages already, making plays, playing strong, playing tough, putting his shoulder heads down, and finishing plays, north and south. And, he's already improved. I think he's very self-motivated, but like I just mentioned, we were challenging him to take another step because he can, and not be satisfied because he's a phenomenal player, but he can be one of the best out there and be a lead. So, gonna have to continue to be a leader for us and speak up a little bit more. He's a quiet guy, but try to really be that alpha and know when to speak up, right, and lead. He's doing a better job of that as well.
I think Antonio said that I underachieved, we all underachieved in the receiver room. I mean, is that something you agree with? And I guess how do you fix that?
Yeah, I think there's an excitement to get out there and play and make plays and be who we are. Be Clemson and be what you've been accustomed to see. you know, and I think every position kind of wears that, right? Where they, you know, it's kind of one of those things. Maybe you feel like there's something to prove, right? Which, hey, if that kind of creates that edge for you, like, use that, you know. If a guy, you know, for me, it's, if you're just so committed and just love the game and just, hey, go out there and make plays and don't think about trying to prove anybody wrong, because that can hinder somebody, right? Like, what works for you? And part of my job is to figure out what gets them going, man. What gets them fired up to go make plays and have fun and dominate, you know. And that's the thing we focused on, just every play, dominate the man across from them. You know, like, go win. Run game, passing game, you know. And so having that mentality, you know, having the mentality to win every rep, and it's been fun. You know, I think there's a hunger and there's a good fight to our guys right now.
No, Will Taylor is playing baseball right now, but at the end of last season, where do you think he was in his development, learning the position?
Yeah, really first year, right, to be a wideout, you know, and he's there with a former teammate, Antonio, right, and kind of learned from Antonio, and you got Drew Sweeney, man, he really kind of came on and was a really good, savvy player and leader, and could teach, right? I mean, he was like a GA for me, you know, and got a few GAs in the room right now, man, could be good coaches someday, but you know, he really learned and developed. You saw him play faster, right? Like he's trying to learn not only the receiver position and the plays and the nuances of the plays, but the technique and fundamentals of how to get to that point, right? So it's a lot on him. And I saw a ton of improvement and excitement out of him. And man, he's so quick as a cat, man. Great hands, you know, got some dog to him, toughness. So all the things you want. So I mean, I think we all want it for him, you know, in football and baseball. You know, that bat's coming alive, you know, which is cool. So we want it for him.
For both of y'all, how much do y'all think this offense and sort of the mentality meshes with Cade and his mentality?
I would say, I want to say he ran something similar in high school. I mean, he's just one of those just natural leaders, so he can take very great command of the offense. And I think with this offense, it gives the quarterback that opportunity, that ability to really take command of it and really lead charge and be able to do things that you can see on the field. Because as coaches, yeah, you can draw it up and it look good on the board with X's and O's, but at the end of the day, the players have to go out there and play. And I think with this offense, he'll be able to go out there and communicate what he sees on the field and be able to come over to the sideline and communicate that with Coach Riley. So I think it's going to fit his personality and his mentality very well.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, it's you know, the first practice, right, of spring, new offense. You've got Cade looking out there and tag, like, changing a route for a receiver. We're trained to have our eyes on him because you're giving him freedom, right? And there's, you know, not complete, like, do what you want. There's, you know, play call, and there's a couple of things that he can be considering. But giving him answers and letting him trust what he sees, which is fun. You know, and all the guys, like our first walkthrough where we did that, you know, they all were like, this is awesome. Let's go. Like, this is great. Like, put me in the best route to get open for you, man. Like, you know, they're all, so that was exciting. And then, so I think there's a little freedom there, which makes them feel like they have some control. And then, you know, little gunslinger kind of mentality, like, hey, let's spread the ball around. Let's get this guy open and put him on this. And, you know, so it's fun. You know, and the receivers are excited to know that, hey, they're going to put me in the best position to make plays. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's an exciting scheme.
CJ, Shipley really came into his own last year. What do you appreciate the most about his game?
And it's really everything, honestly. I mean, he's the ultimate competitor. I mean, this kid plays with a competitive edge that you have to match it. Because if you don't match it, it's gonna be very hard for you. It's almost like I'm pretty sure you probably watched The Last Dance with Michael Jordan and how he was in practice I'm not saying Shipley's Michael Jordan. So he's not right. I'm not saying Shipley's Michael Jordan. But just that competitive, fierce, like how he goes at you, he's just a different player when he steps on the field. But off the field, I mean, he's one of the nicest kids that you can be around. Very humble. When you step on the field, that kid is all about winning. And he's going to do whatever it takes to win. And he's going to push everybody around them to be better. And to me, that's a great sign of a great teammate, because he's pushing everybody else around them to be better, to be their best. And then he's holding himself accountable, because when you do that, you got to make sure you're on top of your game. And he does a great job of that. So, and I'm just very appreciative that I get an opportunity to be his coach, really be all those guys' coaches, because they do bring a great joy, and they make it very fun and very lively to be in that room. But he's the one that gets it going.
I s-
From his nature.
I saw you do a lot of amazing things in your playing days. Did you ever hurdle a player like Will did? I think it was the Louisville game when he hurdled that player.
Nah, I ain't got that on tape, man. So he up one on me on that right now. But I mean, that's just, if we go back, and he actually sent me some video over the summer of him like training, jumping over some physio ball, and that just comes through repetition. And you playing the running back position, it's all about instincts, honestly. And that's just one of those plays that his training that he done in that summer, it showed in that game, jumping over that player. No, I think the time I tried to jump over a guy, I think it was against Maryland. It was on their sideline, I believe. And I think I ended up landing on my neck, and I said that would be the last time I jumped over someone. So, I just stuck to what I knew best.
Right.
I was making a guy miss, not run.
Ran a pump back in your sock though.
Yeah.